All right, thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. And I'm saying this again. It's nice to have everybody here. So our tutor for today is Evans, and he'll be taking us through introduction to front-end development. In as much as we all understand that front-end is the beautiful face of everything that we're using today, even the almighty Zoom that we are on right now has a web interface. So there are people who build these stuff, and mostly it's in two parts. So I wouldn't give all the credits to front end. It's in two parts. We have front end and the back end, more like the skin and the skeleton. Uh, so for those beautiful skin that you see, the UI and all of that, it goes beyond UI a bit, just a bit. uh, so now that's what Evans is going to be taking us through today, and I want you guys to listen. Or you can ask your questions in the chat. I'm saying this again. Please don't interrupt. Feel free to raise up your hands, and we would all attend to everyone. Yeah, thank you very much. Evans, over to you.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. Please, can someone just confirm if you can hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
All right. Good evening, and I'm honored to take this session. All right, so sorry, I don't know, there might be some background noise. It's raining here, but that's why I'm just trying to confirm if you can hear me. So I'm Edike Evans Undoma, a full stack developer. I'm also a freelancer. All right, I'm a software engineer. Yes, I'm glad to be here with you guys. I like to network with uh, people who are in the tech space, both developers, graphics designers, UI UX designers, and so on and so forth. So without taking much of your time, like the reason why we're here, we're here to learn, front-end web development. All right. The course title is Introduction to Front-end Development. All right. So I'll just do a brief. I'll just go through a brief. First of all, when you hear front-end development, you might be wondering, okay, what is this all about? All right. So if you learn all of the languages that are involved in front-end, you should be able to call yourself a front-end developer, and you can be able to build both websites and web applications. All right. When you hear, because some persons think that your skills is just limited to building of a website. No. So essentially, you will know how to build both a website and a web application. There are many web applications that's already in production. Most of you may have known Figma, or some of you may know what they call Figma. Figma is a web application. All right. There are many platforms online that are also web applications. So it is the duty of the front end to make the user, to make the client section, any site you see, any website you see, all right, everything that you see in the website was built by a front-end developer. Okay. All right. So you are the major image. Your ability to build responsive and intuitive UI makes you a better front-end developer. So without taking much of a time, we want to know the languages that concerns front-end development, because the description of our topic says understanding the basis of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So these three languages I just mentioned are the core languages that all developers should know. Whether you're a front-end developer or you're a back-end developer, okay, it is very much mandatory that at least you know these three languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And these three languages are the front-end web development languages. All right. They are the main front-end language. Now, as you may know, HTML is the first language. It's used to build the framework of the website, the skeleton of the website. All right. When I'm teaching this, I like using, though I know we have Christians here, we have Muslims here, but I like using some kind of biblical illustrations. Like I said, when God was about to make man, or when he made human, he started by making the framework. He took a rib to make the framework. So that framework is like the skeleton. But imagine if we are all skeletons walking, through and through. That would be very, very much terrifying. So God was like a developer. After making the framework, so God actually applied HTML to make the framework, the skeleton. And then the next thing he did was to, make, okay, let me just share my screen. Although I've not started because this class is going to be a live coding class. Yeah, well, let me just share my screen. All right. Please, I want to confirm if you can see my screen. Can anybody see my screen? Can anyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right. So like I said, yeah, when God made the framework of man, the skeleton, right? She now probably applied CSS. That's the reason why if you look at a woman, the woman is so pretty. She has long hair, she has big bum bum, she has this and that. But just God applied CSS. He padded some places, made some places bigger, made some places longer, give her a nice complexion. That is CSS. Now, CSS is just responsible for styling the website. It's called cascading style sheets. Its sole responsibility is just to make your website look visually appealing to the eyes, which means you can have a fully functional website that is not done with CSS, but it will not be fine. It shouldn't be appealing. And how appealing your site looks determines the users that will engage in your site. So that was CSS. And then when God made man was just lying down, handsome, but like a dead person, and God breathed into man. So that is JavaScript. JavaScript is more of like giving life to your website, making your website interactive. All right, which means if you have a website, all right, you need to apply a programming language. JavaScript is a programming language, actually. HTML is not a programming language. It's just a front-end web development language. But JavaScript itself is a programming language. It's programming your site to behave in a certain way. And if you know the power of JavaScript, if you know what JavaScript can do, JavaScript has advanced beyond the front end. Initially, JavaScript was designed as a front-end development language, but it has extended beyond that. Today, you hear of Node.js developers. These are people with the knowledge of JavaScript, all right, using the Express to write JavaScript in the server side. So that is it. I won't go too much because we don't have much time. I just had to go over what these things are, because sometimes before teaching, I like you to know the purpose. Because I know, yes, that they're beginners, they might be intermediates here. All right. So what you just need to pay attention, again, code along. Thank God this class is going to be recorded. So if I'm too fast that you cannot code with me, yeah, we'll try and see if we can make the recording available so you can do it. Now, this is a UI UX of what we are going to do. Obviously, we won't have all the time that we need to build this. All right. So anywhere we stop, you guys are going to, as a task, it's going to be given to you guys. The UI will be made available, in the community. So because it's going to be completed. All right. So now this is a Figma. A Figma is just more of like a mock-up of what we're trying to build. Okay. So before a site is built, there are people we call product designers or UI designers or UI UX designers. They sit down, they liaise with the clients and understand what the client wants to build, and then they draw the mock-up, or let me just call it wireframe, of how the site should look before they hand it over to the developer. This is to avoid going back and forth, because oftentimes you could build a site for a client thinking you've gotten the mind of the client, and the client will tell you, this is not what I expected. You see yourself going back and forth. So that being said, now what we need, I don't know, but I think by now, as tech end users who wants to learn front end, you should have VS Code. All right. If you don't have VS Code, yeah, you might not. There's no time to go over it, to download it, but you would have. It's as simple as just searching. When you go to your browser and you search VS Code, the first site you will see in Google search engine is what you're looking for. When you go to this place here, you can download and install your VS Code. So what is VS Code? VS Code is just a text editor. All right. It's more of like our environment where we develop, where we build, because you're going to be writing codes. So there are many tools you can use, but one popular tool is VS Code. Initially, they were using LaunchPad to write all this code. You're writing programming languages, okay? So that VS Code is our environment where we write. Okay, with that being said, because I want to create a site, and I think I will call this site, I will just call it tutor. All right. It's more of like a landing page, like a tutor landing page where you can, where you can learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's just a single page though. So I'm going to create a folder for this. When you are building a project, you create a folder for it. All right. If I want to build maybe Facebook sites, I'll create a folder called Facebook. So since the site I want to build is called tutor, I'm just going to create a folder and call it tutor. So let me just do that real quick. I'll just write, pardon my desktop, okay? It's a bit messy, but let me just go ahead. So I'm going to create a folder.
This meeting is being recorded.
I'm going to call the folder tutor. All right. Then I am going to open this folder in VS Code. And an easy way to do that, I just launch my VS Code. When I launch my VS Code, all right, I'm just going to drag this folder into my VS Code. If I drag this folder into my VS Code, I have opened the folder in my VS Code. There are many ways you can open folder in a VS Code. So this is not supposed to be a challenge. I mean, it's just to open a folder in VS Code. All right. So I can now start developing. Now, to build that website, I first of all have to start from my HTML because HTML is the framework. The framework has to be there. All right. So I'm going to create a file for HTML. So yeah, when you are building a website, oftentimes you first start with the landing page. The landing page is more of like the first page that the user lands in when he visits the URL of the site. For instance, if you go to the company site that is called Studio 3 LaunchPad, I think let me just type it here. If I go to Studio 3 LaunchPad, the first page I see is called the landing page. All right, this page, people pay attention to, I mean, the UI of this page, because this is what they will see when they visit the site. All right, so, okay, before I even go further, everything you see in this site, there's an element responsible for this. The fact that you have seen an image, we have an image element that is responsible for this. The fact that you have seen a header, you have a H1 element responsible for this. The fact you are seeing a paragraph, you have a paragraph element responsible for this. This is a button. We also have a button element. So everything you are seeing are just different elements. It could be a picture, a paragraph, a header, an icon, and so on and so forth. So back to our UI. So we want to create this. So first of all, I need to create the file that will contain the code for my landing page, because I want to start with the landing page. Obviously, it's just one page. So to create that file, I am going to click on this new file. If you hover on this, once you have opened your folder on VS Code, you're going to see the folder name here, which is tutor. So there are many icons here. The first icon is new file, to create a new file. So if I click on this new file, all right, I will now type in the name of the file. So this file I'm creating is my landing page. It's an HTML file for my landing page. So now, the name of this file is very much crucial. I mean, when you are creating a site, many files can have different names, but your landing page should only have one name. And the name should be index.html. All right. Aside from the fact that it's conventional, it is also the best practice. It is also the right thing to do. Because I've seen many developers when they build sites, and I've seen them giving their pages custom names. All right. In a site, you could have your landing page, your contact page, your about page. You're free to name any page, whatever name you want, but your landing page should be index.html. The reason is because when your server opens a particular directory to find your website, the first thing it's looking for is the index.html, which is the landing page. Every other page in your site can be navigated from your landing page. This is what I mean. Like, for instance, if you go to the company site, Studio 3 LaunchPad, this is the landing page. You can navigate to other pages. Every other page can be, you can navigate to any page from the landing page. For instance, if I want to go to the About page, I'll just click on About and this About Us. All right, so I'll just go back to the landing page. So with that being said, I'm going to create the file for my landing page. And like I said, it's going to be index.html. I'll hit enter. Sorry, this class, I'm going to be fast because it's a master class. Yeah, I'm trying to make it project based. Okay, I wish we all in this masterclass would advance. I mean, the company provides, I mean, a structured learning for you guys. So I'm going to be fast, but thank God it's recorded, so you can actually tag along. I mean, you can look at the record and tag along. So please, if at any point you cannot hear me, let me know. All right. But are you guys, can you hear me? Are you following?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So anybody that is not following, if I'm too fast, please do not fail to call my attention. Just signify by raising your hands. All right. So I am back to the landing page. I have just created a file for the landing page, and the file is index.html. All right. Now, before you can start doing anything, there are some existing code that you must, first of all, drop on your file. Just like before you start building a house, it is necessary that you start digging up some place for your foundation. All right. There are certain things that should be laid first before you can now start building the house. The same thing, before you can build a web page, there are some certain codes that are needed. They call them boilerplates. All right. So boilerplates are some certain codes that are needed before you can start developing your site. And for you to bring those boilerplates, they are a bit more. So here, I'm not going to teach you how to cram. We're not teaching how to cram. We're using, I mean, the
Sorry, please
updated
come again. You said boiler what?
boilerplates. All right.
Boilerplate.
So yes, they are just existing code that has to be, I mean, written before you can start building your website. Just like I said, if you're building a house, you obviously have to dig your foundation first. All right. Okay. So
Okay.
now,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Now, to put these boilerplates, you don't have to cram. VS Code is very much handy when it comes to some of these essentials that is needed. So to put all these boilerplates, you can do that by simply pressing your Shift key and 1. I come again, you press your Shift key and number 1. When you press your Shift key and 1, and then when you hit Enter, when you press it, you will see a suggestion like this on my screen. So all you just have to do is just to click on Enter. Let me kind of zoom my screen a bit so that you can see it. Let me even collapse this side. I just want my full screen on. All right, so this is it. So this is my boiler. So I'm going to explain the essentials of all of these boilerplates. First of all, although normally most developers don't even know what these codes are, and I mean it's not like it's really much essential. Okay, but just for the fact that yes, you are a student, and just in case you are called upon, because I would like to go into detail so that I mean it will be in your fingertips. So let me explain what these things are. Like I said, I call them boilerplates. There are some certain codes that has to be there. Initially, when I started web development, because I think I've been in this for like 8 years now. Yeah. So before I used to write all these things myself. Then I have not come across VS Code. I was using some older text editor. This is a text editor. This VS Code. So now, like I said, you don't need to write all this yourself. I've shown you how to bring it up with just a shortcut, Shift and 1. So I'm going to explain what all of these are. I'll start from this one here. Now there are many elements here. All right. First of all, what are elements? An element contains tag name and may contain content and the closing tag. Okay, let me just come again, okay? Don't worry, I'm going to give you this a reference where you can see all of these things so that you don't need to start writing everything. You see, there's a reference where all of these things are. So, like I said, an element, they are different, all these things are elements, okay? They are all elements. Like I said, in a site, for everything you see, there's an element that is responsible for it. The fact that you are seeing this button there's a button element for this. The fact that you are seeing this header, there's a H1 element for this header. Even this is a paragraph, there's an element for it. So back to my VS Code. All of these are elements. How do you know elements? Elements has opening tag and may contain the content and closing tag. Let me take, for instance, this one here, this title element. The title element has the title opening tag. So this is the opening tag. Then this is the content and this is the closing tag. So that is it for the title. It is not every element that has content and closing tag. For instance, this one here, this one has no content. Unlike this, that after because the opening tag is surrounded by these angle brackets, this, should I say, greater or less than symbol. So for this title, this is the opening, from here to here is opening tag. For this first element here, from here to here is opening tag. It has no content and it has no closing tag. So while some element contains opening tag, the content, and the closing tag, others may just have just opening tag and they don't have closing tag. So all of these are elements. This header is an element. It has the opening tag. All right. It has some other elements as the content. Then it has a closing tag. So it is possible for an element to have child elements inside them. So this header has 3 child elements inside it. Okay, this is the opening tag. This is the closing tag. All these inside are the child elements. All right. So I just had to just go to element. I don't know. Yeah, I just did just for beginner's sake. So let me just continue now. So all of these codes, let me explain their function. Why I've explained what element is. All right, let me explain that function. This first element here, which is document type, it just tells your browser that the document, this type of document is an HTML document. All right, likewise, this HTML. Also, this HTML, this is the opening tag, this is the closing tag. What you can see here is called attributes. Attributes, okay? Now, this attribute is saying that we are writing HTML in English language. This one here is more of like, they call it character encoding. All right, it's character encoding. This one here is just telling your browser how to scale the page. This document here, anything you write here, that's what you will see as the title of the site. For instance, let me show you something now. If you go to the company site, Studio 3 LaunchPad, you are going to see this title here, Studio 3 LaunchPad, in your tags bar. So anything I put here, like, let me even open this our site. I will click on Go Live. If you are using VS Code, I don't know, you might not have there's some certain extensions that you might need to download. All right, but don't worry, I'll just show you how to do it, but you mustn't do it now because of time. So there's an extension they call live server. If you just go to this place, click on this place, you will see what I'm seeing right now. Then if you search for live server, you will see I've installed my live server. That is why it's installed. So yes, it will prompt you to install. Just the way I'm seeing other extensions telling me to install, because I don't have them. So here, I already have this one here. So install the live server by Retweak Day. This is the person that built it. So I'm just going to go back. Don't worry, the class is recorded, so you can follow up later because of time. So now I want to go live so that I can see what I've done. So if you install live server, you have the option to go live. Go live is like trying to open what you are building on your browser so that you can visualize what you are building. So my screen is just blank because I have not built nothing. The only thing I have is my boilerplate. All right, I've not started building yet. Now, yeah. So like I said, this title here, this is the title. The reason why I'm having document written here is because in my page, my title is title documents. So let me just change it to the title of the site. Since it's a tutor website, I just change it to tutor. So if I go back to my browser, I'm going to see tutor. All right, so let's proceed. So now let me just go to my UI and start building. So please, if you're not following any points, don't feel to call my attention. We're here for you. All right. So I think what I would do, I'm going to start from this. Okay, I'm going to start from the background. All right. So I want my site to have this colorful background, which is something that look like blue, but it's not blue though. I'm not really good in color, so I want this color for my page. So for me to put this color in my page, that is CSS. CSS is just responsible for styling your site. All right. So okay, let me don't start with CSS yet. Let me start with HTML. I'm going to create all of this first. I'm going to start with HTML. So I'll create all of this first before I think of styling the page. All right. Now, this section that I want to create, is called navbar. The full name is navigation bar. All right. Why is it called navigation bar?
Sorry, we can't see your screen.
Oh, let me see why. Let me see. Maybe I'll just stop sharing and share again. I think it has to do with network since it is raining here. Please confirm if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
I can see your screen now. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Okay. So I was trying to explain, want to start building this design here. So I said, I want to start from this side. And I said, this is called navigation bar. The reason why it's called navigation bar is because it contains all the link for you to navigate to anywhere in your website. Let me take, for instance, this company site, which is Studio 3. This is our company site, Studio 3 LaunchPad. This is the company's navbar. So this navbar helps you to navigate to any page in the website. For instance, if you want to know about the company, you click about us. If you have questions and you need answers, you can click on frequently asked questions. It will go to the frequently asked question page. You see there are many pages. This is just one page. If you want to see our courses, you go to courses. You will see all our courses. All right. So it is in this navbar that you get all the links that helps you navigate to anywhere in the website. At times you can be browsing and you can be lost. You won't even know where you are. Like example, maybe I happen to come to a page called courses, but I'm not sure if I'm on course in the courses page. This navigation bar will help me. It will show me that yes, this courses page is active. So you'll be able to see this navbar across all page. If the site is built well, you should be able to see this navbar across all the pages. It will tell you this is where you are. So yeah, I want to do the same for let me go back to my Figma. I want to build this navbar. So I'm going to start. So the first thing I will do, everything you are building has to be in your body tag. So the first thing I will do, there's an element that they call nav element. That element will carry all of these things, both the logo, all the links, whatever button. So it is this container. Like if I hover on this, my Figma, you can see that there's a blue line. So this blue line, this container is for our navbar. All right, this container is for our navbar. So navbar is a container that carries all those elements. And I've told you what it's meant to do, just to help you navigate. So I want to create that container. I will just type in nav. That nav is an element. All right. Now, when I type, let me do it again. When I type nav, all right, VS Code recognizes what I'm trying to type. So it's asking me, am I trying to type nav? I'll just click on enter. If I click on enter, I'm going to see it. Yes, this is nav. So a lot of things will be written inside. In it, we're going to have these elements. this one here, we're still going to have all of these lists of 5 items. We'll still have a button here. So because we are going to be putting so much inside, I am going to press, my cursor is in between my opening tag and my closing tag. So I'm going to press enter so that I will have enough space to start writing things. I don't like writing and it will get too long. I have to start scrolling left and right. So I just hit enter just to have my opening tag on top and my closing tag below. So the first thing I want to create is this element here, tutor. All right. And that tutor is a link. It's a link. I mean, if you check our site, you notice it's like what you have here now. This is a link. This one helps you to come back to your landing page. Like for now, I'm in the courses page. If I click on this one, it will take me back to the landing page. So the same thing I'm trying to achieve here. I want when someone click on this tutor, even if you're in a different page before, it will come back to your landing page. So it's a link that takes you to the landing page. And to create a link, you use the anchor tag, which is the A tag. It's as simple as just typing A and you press enter. If you type A and press enter, it's going to give you the anchor tag. The anchor tag is a way of creating links that can help you go to any page, whether it's a page in your website or an external page. So the content is going to be tutor. So I'll just write tutor. So let's see what we've done. And this is it. All right, so we just created elements. Now our elements it's not gonna look like our design until we apply CSS. So let me continue. So the next thing I'm going to create is a list of 5 links. I'm going to create a list of 5 links because all these are links also. The way this one is a link, that is how this one is a link. But it's more of like a list of 5 different links. All right. And how to create link in HTML? You can create a link in HTML by using what they call the UL tag or the OL tag. OL means ordered list. UL means unordered list. For instance, if I want to list items, maybe I want to list domestic animals. I can use, let me just take an example. Maybe I want to list 3 domestic animals. I can use the UL tag to create that list. So you first of all type your UL tag and then you hit enter. Then you can now type your list. All right, to create a list first, you need that UL tag. And I said UL represents unordered list. Then you still need the list tag, which is the LI. LI represents just the list tag. So I want to create list of domestic animals, maybe like 3. So here I can just put goats. Then if I want to create another list, I don't need to come down and sit and start typing everything. I can just duplicate this one using Shift Alt arrow down. When you press Shift Alt down, you can see I've made a duplicate. So I will just change the goats from goats to maybe dog. Let me do the last one. I can say rabbits. So I just created a list using unordered list. All right, it's not in our Figma design. It's just to show you what lists are before we can use the list, because I know we would probably have beginners here in class. So I just made a list of 3 items using unordered lists. If I was to do that same list with other lists, let me show you how it's going to be. So if I had not use UL tag, okay, let me do another list. I'm going to do another list using OL tag, which is ordered list. So this is how it's going to be. Using OL tag, I'm going to create a list. Let me just do for wild animals. So I'll create a list. I'll say the first one is lion. I'll use my Shift Alt down to duplicate. Second one is tiger. I'll use my shift or down to duplicate. Third one is zebra. All right, so I just used, so here I have two lists. My first list is called unordered list, that is the UL. My second list is called ordered list, that is the OL. And let's see the difference. If you check, the difference is that the ordered list, they order them using numbers. 1 to 3.
The other one is bullets.
So the other one is just bullet points.
Mm.
Dot, dot, dot. So that is just the difference. So what I actually want for my design is this one. I don't want the numbers. In fact, I want this one, and I will still remove the bullet points because I want to create a list of 5 links. So I don't want the numbers. If I had a list that would not even give me bullet points, I would have taken that list. So, but I only have just the UL, no OL. We'll use CSS to remove the dots. So I'm going to get rid of this. I just use it to illustrate how to create a list. So I'll get rid of it. So let me create the list using UL tag. So I'll create a list of 5 items. Let me do for the first one. The first one is home. Second one is about us. Let me do for the home. So if I just come here and type home, let me see the results. If I type home, this is it here. Now there's a problem. It is not a link because all these things are linked. What I just did now is not a link. So I need to put, this has to be a link, just like this first one. You know, a link is something that you can click that takes you somewhere. So I have to make this one here a link too. So let me go back. I will remove the home. I will just use Ctrl+Z to undo. So before I put that link, I have to first of all put a link tag using the A. If you just press A and press enter, it creates your link. This is your link. This is the opening tag. This is the closing tag. So your cursor is in between your opening and closing tag, just like this link here. So I'll type my home in between, home. So doing this, I have been able to create my first link. If you look at now, it's something you can click on. Though we did not put, we've not put where it will lead you to, but it's just, at least it's clickable now. So let me do for the rest. As you know, we have other ones like about us, resources, mentor, community. So let me do for them. I don't need to start writing these things again. That's why I like VS Code. You can just duplicate this line and change this home to about us. And to duplicate the line is just with your shift alt down. So this one will be about us. So home, about us. The third one is resources. So I just use shift or down to duplicate. Now write resources. Sorry,
You said shift what?
Shift alt down. Like you hold shift. When you press the shift, you hold it. Then there's a key that is called alt. That key is just before your space bar. So it's called alt.
Okay.
Then your
shift
arrow down. Yes.
Then arrow down.
Yes. While you hold your shift and your alt, then you press arrow down. So you have to hold the shift and alt here. All right. So this is the resources. So the next one is, I think, mentorship. Let me just confirm. Sorry, mentors, then community. So the same thing, shift or down, I'll create for mentors. And lastly, I'll do for community. All right. Let me visualize what we have done so far. All right, so this is what we've done so far. It's not looking like our design, yes, because I mean that is what CSS will do for us. But now we're just building the skeleton. So lastly, what I want to build is our button. This is a login button. So I can also do it with a link tag. It's also a link. So I could just create, it's a link that should take you to your login page. So I can just use my anchor tag and create the login for myself. All right, so that is done. So now let me start to, I have created all the elements that is needed here, but it's not yet looking like the design. So now let's make it to look like our design using our CSS. CSS means cascading style sheets. So I'm just going to,
CSS means what?
it means cascading style sheets. Cascading style sheets. It's just a sheet of codes. I mean, that is meant for styling that we just
Okay.
join to our HTML. So it's called cascading style sheets. All right. So I want to start styling it. Okay. All right, let me just do it. So I'm going to create a file for that CSS. Normally you can write your CSS even in your HTML, but for your code to be more organized, it's good to have a document that you just write CSS and a document that you just write HTML. Just like, because if you write everything here, it works fine, but if it's just like when you come to your room and then notice that book is on the bed, clothes are on the bed, your laptop's on the bed, shoes on the bed, everything is just disorganized. So rather you have to start, you now say, okay, book should be in the locker, clothes should be in the wardrobe, shoes should have a shoe rack. So this is how you organize things. So same thing, putting CSS code here will make our code look messy. So I'm going to create a file where I will write in my CSS code. Now to create that file, it's as simple as just clicking this plus. So I'll just click the plus. I'll create a file called style.css. Normally, if I had all the time in the world, I won't really just create my file here. I'm going to have a folder for that file. All right. It's just that time will not permit us to follow all of the best practice. Otherwise, yeah, because it's a master class, we're trying to just cover something that is substantial. So ideally, there will be a folder that you call assets folder. That folder will carry your CSS file, carry your images, carry your even JavaScript and so on and so forth. But it's okay, it can be here. So this I've created my CSS file, and this is the CSS file. Now, anything I write here is meant to affect my HTML. But there's a problem. Okay, for instance, now, I want to, first of all, write a code that will make my page to have this color that is like blue. I don't know what color it is, but let me just call it blue. Permit me to call it blue. So if I want to make my page to have this blue color, how would I do it? Okay, but let me just take this one. So how would I make my page to have this blue color? All I need to do is to click on my design. If I click on my design, I'll see all the properties. Let me do it again. If I click on my design, I'm going to see all the properties of this design. One of it is color. This is the color. So the color is written, it's not written in words, it's written in hash code. All right, so I'll just copy this color here. Once I tap on it, I think I will just let me drop this link in the group chats, in the community. Or maybe I will drop it after the class. I will drop it in the community. So that just in case you want to access it. So for now, let me just leave it. So I'll drop it after the class. So I come again. If I click on my design, this design name, I'm going to see different properties, the weight, the height. So I'm just interested with the color. I want this color here. So once I tap on this, it will copy the color to my computer, to my clipboard. So I just want that color so that I can apply it to my web page. So I'm going to go back to my web page. Let me go back to my web page. So I'll go to my CSS. Now I want to make my entire body to be that color, because by default, my entire body is white. So I want to select, the body carries everything you are seeing beside. So I want to select this body. I want to give it that color that looks like blue. So all I need to do is just to go to my CSS and I'll call my body. This is the body here. This is the body. It carries everything that shows on our site. So I can call the body, I can select it by its name. For instance, if I want to paint somebody blue color, I have to first of all get the person first before I start applying paint on your body. So here the same thing. I want my body to be blue. I have to first of all select the body by calling it by the tag name body. So I just called it by the tag name body. All right, that is it. Then I want to style it. I want the background color to be blue. So when you call your selector, before you start styling, you have to put in what they call curly braces. Curly braces is written by, if you hold your shift key and you press the key after your letter P, you will see curly braces. I'm sure you guys should be computer literate, so you should know how to type curly braces. If you don't know, it's just shift and the key after P. So you need to have these curly braces. So I want my background color to have that color. So I'll do it inside of this place. I'll just type. First of all, let me hit enter because I will type it so much. So I hit enter just to split these curly braces. One at the top, one at the bottom. Then I will type here.
Sorry, please. You
Yes.
said to get the coily braces, what should we
Yes.
press?
Okay, let me just undo and repeat it again. So you just press your shift key and then the key after your letter P. If you check your keyboard, after your letter P, your OP, there's another key.
Okay.
Next after it. So when you hit your shift and you press that key, it will give you that curly braces. Yeah.
Okay.
So because I want to write, and it will put your cursor will be in the middle of the curly braces. So it's opening and closing curly braces. So I'll be writing inside, I'll be styling my body inside these curly braces. So because I want to write some code, I will hit enter just to split my curly braces. One in the top, one in the bottom. So I want to give it a background color. So in CSS, there's a property. If you want to change the background color of an element, you just type background color. And this is why I like VS Code. You don't even need to type it in full. Once you just type it small, it will auto suggest it to you that do you mean background color. All right. So I will select background color. So it will also suggest some colors to me. Would you like to make it black or blue or whatever? All right. If I don't want that color, maybe I have my own color. I will not click on any color there. I will just paste. I already copied the color before. So I'll just use Ctrl V to paste the color I copied. All right. So you know I like CSS. CSS is it's close to English language. If you want to style background color, you use background color. So if you know English, you can know CSS. If you want to increase the height of an element, you use the height property. If you want to increase the width of an element, you use the width property. If you want to increase the font size, you want the font size to be big, you use font size. So CSS is just very close to English language. So this is background color. Now let's see if it worked. Now nothing has changed. All right. I wrote a code that should make my background blue, but it's not working. So why is it not working? It's because my CSS is not linked to my HTML. In fact, this HTML does not know that there's a CSS file somewhere that is meant to style how it will look. It doesn't know. There are two different files. This HTML, this CSS. They are not linked. So now I need to link this CSS to this HTML so that it can effect changes on the element. It can now style the elements. So how do I link my CSS to my HTML? It's as simple as using, there's a tag called the link tag. Don't confuse, there are two tags that people use to confuse. This anchor tag and link tag. Let me just show you how the link tag works. So to write the link tag, the link tag has to be written inside this head, in between your head, open and close, not in the body. So I'll come after this title, I'll just hit enter. The next line, I'll put my link tag. So to write a link tag, just type your LIN. Before it's link, LINK. Before you even type it in full, it will suggest it to you. So I'll select the link. So this is my link tag. Then the link tag had something they call href. The href is just the place where you put the part where the CSS is located. All right. And the CSS is in our root folder. That is our the main folder. The root folder is your main folder, which is your tutor folder. So how do we go to root folder? To go to your root folder, just simply press dot and slash. Dot and slash take you to the root folder. All right. So when I press dot and slash, you can notice that it's saying that, okay, you're in your root folder and there are two files in your root folder. One is your index.html, one is your style.css. What I want to link is this style.css. So you can see I'm in the root. That's why this is you're seeing here, what you're seeing here, which means I'm in my root folder. So what I want is I want this style.css. So I'm going to select style.css. So I haven't done this. I have successfully linked my CSS to my HTML. So it's not as if they are now together now. Anything you do here can now affect your HTML. For instance, I change the background color to blue. If I check it, it's now blue. All right. So let's continue. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I want my come in, sorry, please. The next thing I want to do, I'll go back to my Figma design. I want all these link. I want them to be white because look at they are looking blue. Imagine a blue text on a blue background. It doesn't make sense. So I want all these texts to be white, and that is what CSS can do. That is the power of CSS. So because I want all the links, all this anchor tag, this one here, all these ones here, I want them to be white. I can just select all my anchor tag by simply just typing A. The anchor tag, you select them by their tag name. Like when I wanted to select the body tag, I just write body. Now that I want the anchor tag, I just type A. So that is the tag name A. So I want to select anchor tag. I'm going to open my curly braces. I want them to have a text color of white because by default, link has blue text, but I want them to have white text. So how do we make text color to be white in CSS? To make text colors be white is just by using the color property. All right. Some persons mistakenly say text color. No. To make the color of a text, like you want to change the color of a text, you don't use text color. You use color. Color means text color. So I want the color to be white. I can just type in white here. Colors can be written in different way, either by their real name in English, or if you even hover the color, you can change the name from English to code. Like this white in hex code. But I want it to be, let me just undo. I just want it to be white in words. They are all the same thing. So I've successfully made my link to be white. Okay. Now the next thing, there's a space that is here that I don't want. By default, URL tag comes with this kind of space. So I don't want this space. Any space that not put, it should not be there. So by default, there's some elements that comes with some space, some margin and padding. All right. So I don't want this margin and padding. I only want a space that I deliberately put. So for me to take out any space that comes as a default, what I have to do, I have to select every element in my project and say, okay, all the space becomes 0. So how do we select all the elements in our project? To select all the elements in our HTML, you use what they call the universal selector. And that universal selector is star. Let me zoom out so you can see my code very well. So star, how do you write star? I mean, is just your shift and number 8. If you hold shift key and press 8, you see your star. So this star key or this star character is, if you use it in CSS, it's just a way of calling all the elements. That means you are calling everything here, both the navbar, the anchor tag, the URL tag, anything, you are calling all of them. You are selecting all of them. That is our universal selector. So I want every margin and margin. Okay, yeah, you're just doing a master class. Let me just tell you what margin is. Margin is just the space around an element's border, while padding is a space in between the border. So now I want every margin and every padding to be 0. Since margin is a space, padding is a space, and I want to eliminate every space. So I'll say let the margin be 0. Okay. Secondly, let the padding be 0. So this one eliminates any margin or any padding that comes by default. So if I check, there is no space anywhere. There is no space anywhere. Okay. So now let me try and arrange all these elements with the way it is. I mean, see the way it is spaced. The first link is here, is by the right. Second link is at the center. You know, I want to do all of this. So how do I do it? All right. I'm going to use what they call flexbox. I'm going to use what they call flexbox for this. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me run through flexbox in 3 minutes. Or let me just do it here. I'll explain it here. Now, flexbox is just a CSS tool that we use to, make items flexible. Yeah. When you give an element a display of flex, that element becomes a flexible container. And all the child elements that it carries are now flexible items. Time will not permit us, otherwise I would have this document that I've shared. I think I will share it also in the group chat. Everything we did here, I will just share a document that contains all of this. But I will just try to explain this here, just to be fast. Now, like I said, Flexbox is just a tool that makes your container flexible. So for instance, there's a container that is carrying all this, our link tag, our lists, our login. I can make this container flexible by calling this container and giving it a display of flex. How do I mean? First of all, let me call the container. The container is our nav element. So if I call this nav element and let me call it, and I give it a display of flex, let's see what happens. Now notice what happens. Notice what happened now. These things before, they were staying, the first one was on top. This one here, let me zoom out a bit. Before, this first one here was on top. This one here was underneath it, and this login was at the bottom. Yeah, they have a direction of column before. Column means when things stays on top of each other. Like if I move from top to down, I will say that is a column direction. While if I move from left to right, I will say that is a row direction. So before, all the child elements were arranged in a column direction. They have a flex direction of column where they stay on top of each other, like they're going from up to down. But when I give the container a display of flex, all the child now have a flex direction of row. They now go from left to right. All right. Forget about this one that is still going up and down, because yes, he has his own children. Let's look at the URL as a whole. You know that. Let me go back to my code so you can see something in my code. Okay. All right. This nav bar, it has one child. This is one child. This is two child. The second child. This is the third child. It has three child elements. So before, these three elements, they were stacking on each other. First one was on top, second one was under, fourth and third one was at the bottom. That is, they have, by default, they have a flex direction of column. But when I call this navbar, who is the parent element, and I give the navbar a display of flex, all right, all the child elements, they now stay like this from left to right. All right, before I proceed, is anybody confused? Is anybody lost? Do you have any question? I don't know. I'm sorry that I'm not showing my face. As it began to rain, they took the lights. They don't really take lights here, but I don't know. They took the lights and everywhere is dark. That's why my camera is off and you cannot see my face. During our React class, I mean, I will ensure that there's proper lighting, so you see my face. Yeah. Can anybody hear me? Pause. Because everywhere has been quiet for a while.
We can hear you.
All right. So if at any point you get lost, please don't fail to let me know. Okay.
Somebody said she's lost. Blessing said she's lost.
You say?
Blessing said she's lost.
Okay, Blessing. All right, Blessing. Where are you lost? No, just let me know. Where are you lost? Is it in the flex box? Well, let me check the charts. All right. Okay. Anyways, Blessing. Yeah, if you can hear me. Yeah, we're trying to style our websites to look like our design. There are many ways we could do that. There are even more easier ways to do it. But I'm just trying to follow best practice, the right way to do it. Yeah. Okay, she said you want me to, let me show you my code. Of course, I'll share my code when I'm done. I will just put it in the group chat. I will share both the HTML and CSS. Then we'll still have a recording. I mean, the class is being recorded. So I think it will be shared across too, so that you can just follow. Because because of time, I'm kind of fast. Yeah. Though normally, if our class, if we begin, because there will be a cohort for all of these things, but we'll take things from the beginning, step at a time. It will become explicit to you. So this is a master class. It's just a short class where what we're trying to do, we're trying to just build something that is practical, something that is realistic, something that you see in your day-to-day life when you browse. So that is why we are moving in an advanced pace. But I will still try to be as explicit as I can. So I'm going to go back to my code. Yep. All right. So like I said, before I do this thing here, this is the last thing I did. Let me first of all remove it. Let me undo it first. Let's see how our page looked before. So before I did it, everything was just on top each other. This is the first element, is on top. The second one, which carries 5 elements. Let me show you the code so you can see. This second URL tag, it carries 5 more elements inside. So this second one was underneath the first. And the last element, which is this login link, all right, was also underneath. So the reason is because this element has it has a flex direction of column. That means any child inside, they will be staying, up, bottom. They'll be going from top to down, from top to bottom. All right. So yeah, we don't want that. We want, if you check our design, they are all going from left to right. So this pattern where the codes are arranged from left to right is called a flex direction of row. That means the direction is in a row direction. not a column direction. From top to bottom is column direction. I repeat, from top to bottom is column direction. Then from left to right is row direction. So I want it to have a row direction. For this element to have a row direction, all I just need to do is to call the parent, which is this nav. If I call the parent, which is nav, and I give it a display of flex, all the child will now have a flex direction of row, sorry. So you can see they're now staying row. All right. So I want to do the same for this URL tag that's carrying all these children. This URL tag has a flex direction of column also. So I need somebody to tell me, how can I make this URL tag? Let me show you our code. Let's see the code first. So this is the URL tag. It's carrying its own children. They all have, they are arranged in a flex direction of column. So how can I make this URL tag to have a flex direction of row? First of all, what will I select in my CSS?
Can I say?
Yeah, I can. Do you get my question?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
so what?
the
All right.
URL should be display flex.
God bless you. Nice one. So I'll call the URL and I'm going to give it a display of flex. So it's as simple as that. So if I check it, they are all now arranged, side by side. Now I need to also apply more styling to ensure adequate spacing of all these elements. I'm still going to use Flexbox. Don't worry, I'll give you a write-up that contains this. I will still make it available for you guys. And when we're doing our class, all right, all of these things we'll take it step by step. So I want to look at my design. My design, how do I do this? You can see that this first element, there's enough space before the second one, and there's enough space before the third one. So how do I achieve that? Now to achieve that, I'm going to use some properties, some flex properties also. So there's a property that is called justify content. First of all, when we give this container display of flex, the container becomes a flex container. All right. Okay. Let me just give me a second, please. Let me open. I'm supposed to be showing you my slide for this. I have a slide for this course that I will still share. All right, I have a slide for this. I'll share with you. This one just shares you the topics and subtopics. I just made a short slide. All right. Okay, we are seeing HTML. All right, all these are the elements. We have used anchor tag. All right, we have used UL. We mentioned OL. We say they are used to create lists. All right. So let me just proceed. All right, so we are in CSS right now. I'm explaining all of this. I've used background color. I've even used display flex. This is where I explain this display flex. I've used background color. I've even used color. The color is a property to style test color. So this slide I'm supposed to have shown you, but I was so in a haste trying to mix up. And all right, but I will still share this in the group chat, of course. I wanted to just make it, much more explicit by explaining. All right. So let's proceed. So I'm back to the navbar. I just gave it a display of flex. And I said, when you give an element a display of flex, it becomes flexible. You can now make the children, you can position the children in any form because the parent is now a flexible element. It's called a flex container. Then the children are called flex items. If I want all the children, by default, all the children are going to be justified to the start. Start means the beginning. You can see all these elements, they just came to the beginning when there's so many space here. So that is because once you give a container display of flex, all each child, they're going to have what they call a justified content of start, making them to go to the start, to the beginning. All right, let me write this in. Let me show you what I mean now. It means that once you give this display of flex, by default, it's as though you gave it a justified content of flex starts. You can say start or flex starts. So, but there are other properties. If you don't want them to all go to the start, maybe if you want them to go to the end, which is the end, what you will give them is a justified content of flex end. Flex end. And then, if you notice, they are now in the end. What if you want them to come to the center? What do? You give them a justified content of, who can tell me, who can just guess? If I want everything to come to center.
Flex center.
Okay, you tried. Yeah, it's center. All right. I know you will say flex center. Well, you still try, Sha. It's center. It's only start and end that we have. So yeah, I'll just say center. But I appreciate the guess. So center, will bring it to center. So apart from start, center, and end, there are other ones. If you want the first one to stay at the start, then the second child at the center, the last child at the end, there's a way to do it. If you give them a justified content of space between, look at what it will do. It will put the first one at the start, the second child. You know, the second child is a list of 5 child or so, but this is the second child. So you put the second child at the center, and then you put the last child at the end. So that's what space between. So you don't even need to cram this sense, because once you want to type, they'll come out. Once you write, let me come again. Let me just remove this and do it again. Once you write justify content, you're going to see all of them. There are many of them. It's not all that are important for you to learn. I'm trying to keep this class simple because of the time. So there's space between, there's even space evenly. Space evenly is when you want to put an equal space, all right, around them. But let me just take it back to space between, which is what we want. So we want space between. So we are making progress, but we're not done. Now the next thing I want to do, I want to, if I hover on this number, you can notice that there's some sort of padding, like about it. When they say pad is like when there's space inside, you can create a space by padding something. So padding is just a space inside between the border and contents. This is the content of the element. So this is the border. This blue line is the border. So padding is just the space. It's just the space around it. So I want to create this space around it. You can see it's at the top, at the left, at the bottom, at the right. But in my design, there's no space at the top or at the right. It's just there like that. So I want to create that space. But maybe before I create that space, let me just put a border line so you can see the area first. So you can know where the space entered. Like in my design now, in my Figma design, if I hover, I will see this border. So let me just put a line. Though the line is not in design, it's just to help us understand what is padding or what is margin. So I'm going to just put that line. Later I will take it out. So if I go to my CSS, yeah, I'm in my navbar here. That's my navbar that carries everything. I want to just put a border. Border is a line. All right. So to put a border line, you can use the property border style. If you say let the border style be solid, it's going to put a black continuous line around it. I don't like black line because black line in a blue background, in terms of visual hierarchy, it's very, very dim. I can't see it clearly. So let me change that line to white. To change the line to white, I will use border color. All these things have shorthand, but for now, I want to just do it normal way. I'll use border color. So I want the color of that line to be white so that we can see it. Not like this line is not in our design, just to help us understand padding and margin. So I just did a border so you can just see the whole area of the nav bar. The nav bar is just this thing that has this element that has this line. All right, so let me give the nav bar a padding so you can see how it looks, so that you can know difference between padding and margin. When it comes to padding and margin, means just a spacing, a way of creating space. Padding is the space inside or within an element's border and the content, while margin is the space outside. Enough of all this English. Let me just show you the practical. So let's give it a padding. Let's see. So if I give my nav bar a padding, maybe of, let me just say 20 pixels. There are many units to give padding, but now I'll use pixel. If I give my nav bar a padding of 20 pixels, let's see how it looks. All right, this is 20 pixels. So you can see that it creates a space of 20 pixels between the border and the content. So that is padding. If I had not used padding, what if I had used margin? Let's see the difference now. If I had used margin instead, so I'll just take out this padding. I'll change it to margin. So if I had used margin, you can see that we have a space now, but the space is outside the border. So while padding is between the border and the content, margin is outside of it. There's a space both at the top, at the right, at the bottom, at the left, and so on and so forth. So, but what we want to achieve from our design, you can see that what do we need here? Let me show it to you guys. Is it padding or margin that is needed for an nav bar? What are we supposed to use?
Come again, I didn't get the question.
All right. First of all, I've shown you the contrast between padding and margin. Now, padding is the space inside the border and the elements, while margin is the space around. So I'm saying this is our design. I want to create this space inside of the border. So for me to achieve this, am I supposed to use padding or margin?
You're using
So you
padding.
use padding.
Thank you. God bless you. So it's as simple as that, padding, because I want the space inside of it. So I'm just going to go back to my CSS. What I want is padding, not margin. So I'll change this to padding. So I can just give it a padding of 30 ps. 30 ps looks quite good. So it even looks too much. I can reduce it. The spacing looks too much to me. So I can just make it 25 pixels. There are many units for all these properties, but I will just keep it as pixel for now. Pixel, all these are just used for measurement, So, all right. Okay, I'll leave it like this. Then one more thing again. All these anchor tag, I don't like the way they are jam-packed together. There's no space in between them. So I can just call all my lists, not anchor tag, just the list. I can call all these list elements and give them a space, maybe a left and right margin. So to do that, it's as simple as just you select the list items. Let me even show you. Let's see what we're selecting first. Let me go back to my HTML. You can see the list item. Each list carries their own link. So I can just select the lists and put a space. I want a space put at the left and right. So I have selected the list. So let me start it. So I can choose to use margin, like the space around an element border. I can let them have a margin. I want to give it a margin both left and right. I want a space both in the left and in the right of each of the list items. So to give a margin right, let me start with margin right. For margin right, you just type margin. You'll see suggestion. Select margin right. I want a space at the right. So let me just say margin right. Let me give it a margin right of 10 pixel. And let's see. So I've given it a margin right of 10 pixel. So it puts a space at the right. I also want to give a space at the left. So I'm going to use margin left. So I'll give it a margin left of 10 pixel. So, okay, the space has increased. So I think I'm satisfied with this. All right. So there's a, okay, for now, I will not teach you shorthand. For now, let me just proceed. Meanwhile, there's a bullet points. I know it's not quite obvious because it's black in color and the background is also dark. There's a bullet point that comes with list item that we don't want. So I want to take out that bullet point. We don't want them, even if it's not visible. To take out that bullet point, I can go to my URL tag because it comes with URL tag. The URL, which is the other list, by default, it brings all those points, all those bullet points. While the URL tag, like I showed you before, it brings numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and there's a property to remove that bullet point. That property is called list style type. Yes. If you set the list style type, if you set it to none, it means I don't want any style, any whether bullet point or numbers. So if you set it, that point is gone. Before, when I zoom in, you will see some black dots beside it. But now it's no longer there. All right. So I have built this navbar. All right. Okay, one more thing again. In my design, all these links, they are not underlined. There's no line underneath there. But what I'm building, I'm seeing a line underneath the links. So I want to get rid of the line. Those lines, where did they even come from in the first place? Every link, every anchor tag, by default, it has a text decoration of underline. That means the text have this decoration where they are underlined. So you can choose to remove it. You can even make the line to be on top of it. They call it overline. You can make the line to be at the middle, call it line through. Let me just show that I mean now. First of all, I'm going to select all my anchor tag. I already have a place where I select all my anchor tag. So I'll just go there and style. So I want the list style type. I want it to be set to, okay, by default, is set to, sorry, not list type, it's a mistake, sorry. It's called text decoration, not list style type. It's called text decoration. So I want the text decoration. Text decoration. I'm sorry. I want the text decoration. Let it be set to, by, like I said, by default, an anchor tag has a text decoration of underline. That's why the line is under it. If I don't want it, I will set the text decoration to none. None means the line should not be there. If I want the line on top of it, I can set the text decoration to be overline. And it puts a line above them. If I want the line to be in between, I will set it to line through. But let me leave it to none, because none is what we have in our design. We don't have a line there. So that's it. Then finally, I don't want this border. It's not in our design. I just put it for you to explain margin to you and padding. So let me take out that border. That border, this is where we'll put the border. Where we set the border style and border color. So I can remove it. So I've removed it. So we have done our navbar. All right. Okay. And it is responsive to tablet device. Yeah, but for now, we've not done miracle. So, but at least it's responsive for desktop and tablets. Okay. Do you have any question? Because I mean, this class was intended to be an hour class. Time will not permit us to do to go further. All right. Unless if I'm authorized to just teach for an hour. So I want to use this opportunity to entertain questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Evans. That was very, very, deep. Even I learned a lot. So please, if you have any questions, so we could wrap up. So that it's not be too long. There's one more session with Ezekiel, with Evans. That would be, I think, next week. So if you have any questions, please shoot. This is time. Hi Chijoke. Hi Moses. Hello Parafemi. Benoit D. Wow. That name looks Benoit D.
Please, Evans, what's the anchor tag? An anchor tag.
All right, thank you for that question. Okay, so an anchor tag is an element that helps you create links. If you want to link to a particular place. For instance, have you ever been in a site where they tell you, click this link to go to our Facebook page? Let me just do one now. Maybe I want to create a link where if someone click it, it should take them to maybe another page, could be Facebook page. All I need to just do is just to use that anchor tag. I'll create the anchor tag. Then as a content, I will put what I want the user to see. So I want the user to see something that says visit our Facebook page, our Facebook. That is what I want the user to see. Visit our Facebook page. So now, let's see how it looks from the browser. I'm trying to take out this. All right. So this is what I will see. But when I click on it, it doesn't take them to that Facebook page. So how do I ensure that it takes them to the Facebook page? The anchor tag has something that they call href. That href is where you put the place you want it to take you to. So if I want it to take me to Facebook, first of all, let me go and get Facebook website's URL. Let me just get Facebook. Let me just type Facebook and get their URL. I'm going to type, so this is Facebook URL. Let me just copy the URL from here. I'm going to go to my code. So in this anchor tag, in my href, I will paste that Facebook URL there. So when I paste it there, whenever somebody comes, let me go back to my site. When someone comes to my site and click on this visit our Facebook page, it takes them to our Facebook page. So that anchor tag is just an element that is used to take somebody to a particular page. It could be an internal page in your site or an external page. For instance, if you look at the company website, all these things, they were placed inside anchor tag. That's why when you click on About Us, it takes you to About page. Yeah, so that is what anchor tag is. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, please, where you choose that NAFTA, can I actually use this? Or is it supposed to be not like only now? Can I use this before?
Okay, if I can get it correctly, because your voice was kind of low. You said where I use the navbar.
Yeah, where you use the navbar, like, can I use this or it must be in navbar?
Yeah, when you create, yeah, it has to be a nav bar, like it has to be nav. Yes, it is nav. Nav is an element.
That's because why can't I use this? So
I don't know if it's just me, but your voice is breaking here. I could barely hear you.
why can't I use this?
Why can't you use it? You can use it now.
Okay.
Anybody is, you can use it. Sorry, you can. It's an element to create a nav. If you are creating a nav bar, you use nav elements. There are many elements with their name. So you use them when it's time for its purpose. Like in a site, aside from navbar, there are other elements. Like example now, if you want to create footer, like this site now has what they call footer. This is a footer. So to create this section, the element you will use is called footer. Well, let me take out this anchor tag I just wrote for. Let me just take that for. So there's a place, if you want to create a footer, you use a footer element. So everything you want to create, there's an element for it. Don't worry, we'll give you resources where you can read up these things here. So there's an element for this, which is footer, just like your navbar. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Who else? Because I think so many persons indicated. All right. Any other question? Okay. Because in the absence of questions, I'm going to. There's a task. There's a task that we all are needed to carry out. I mean, like for you to be a front-end developer, you just need three things. First of all, you need to have maybe basic computer knowledge, which of course is very. If you don't have it, it's very simple. Your computer is like your phone. If you can press phone, you can press computer. Then you need to be eager to learn. That is why oftentimes if I'm teaching this, if I was start a fresh class, I will give you my own induction. I'll tell you the importance. Because everything I do in life, there's a purpose why I'm doing it. If I don't know the purpose, I will just be playing. Yeah, so you need that eagerness. Then you need commitment. So whenever a task is given to you, you have to do it. I mean, it is learn and practice. It is practice makes perfect. It is by practicing that it's going to be in your fingertips. You're learning a computer language. So obviously, it's not your language. So you have to practice. All right. So, yeah,
I have one more question.
of course, go ahead.
Please, what did you say about coily braces?
Okay, yeah. Let me go back to my CSS code. When we're writing CSS, all right, the first thing we did first of all was we we call it a selector, or we select what we want to style. Like for instance, when I wanted to style anchor tag, when I wanted to make them white, I have to select the anchor tag using the selector A. So this is where you select it. Then before I can now start styling the elements, I need to write curly braces. Curly braces is just a character that includes all of your stylings, because these declarations are what you style. I mean, you want your color to be white, you want your text decoration to be none. Here you want your background color to be this color. So you include all this, your style, your property, and your value inside curly braces. So it's just a way of trying to um, arrange all your styling in the place. Like I cannot come and write, if I mistakenly write these things here, let me just, for instance, now I wrote it outside here. It's an error. You can even see basically it's telling me that it's expecting that you should use the curly braces. It's telling you that curly braces is expected. So all your stylings supposed to be embedded or encapsulated in between your curly braces. So it's just more of like a character that is meant to carry all your stylings. Like here, when I say background color should be this color, it was done in between curly braces. So it's just a character that encapsulates your declaration. When they say declaration, it means your property and your value. Or let me just leave that English. It means your styling code, where you style something. Background color to this. So thank you for that question. I don't know if it's clear.
Yes, I understand now. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Feel free, if you have any question, feel free to, if you remember any question that you forgot, feel free to why I go through your assignment. So the assignment that you have is to, though we didn't have time to do much. We didn't have time to, if I have time, I can still do more, but we didn't have time. So you're just meant to just create this. I mean, create the landing page. I want to know who can do it to the end. All right. Some people can do it up to this point. All right. You can feel free to do research. You can say, okay, how do I create in HTML? How do I create a text that is bold enough? I'm going to drop this design in group chat, the link also to design. You will see how to create it. For instance, if I Google, come sorry. Okay. If I just Google how to create maybe headings in HTML, it should tell me that I should use H1. All right. You can even use AI to, ask, because I teach, in fact, if you're doing this program, you're going to run this program with us. All right. We'll learn how to integrate AIs to our coding journey. We'll be learning so much. All right. So you can even use AI. I don't know if you've heard of ChatGPT. You can ask him, okay, how do I create a header? Because this design is more of like a heading. Learn HTML and CSS. So if you ask, how do I create this in here? To tell you, use the H1 to H6. So you can feel free to do your research, because as a developer, you have to be more of like a researcher. All right. Don't always expect that someone is there to teach you everything. Of course, we'll try our best to teach you almost everything. But I mean, as you proceed in your journey as a developer, you will see challenges. So they say you can use the H1 tag, and they say they have from H1 to H6. So anyone you use, H1, they all have their sizes. For instance, if I come down my navbar and I create a H1 tag, and I said and I write this text in my design that says learn HTML. Let me just copy this text. If I copy this thing here and go and put it in my H1, let me just format this thing to look well. Okay. Let me refresh the page first. All right. So you say learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let me make this test. I want my test to be white. So I can just, I want every test to be white. So I can just use my universal selector. Or I can do it even here in my body. I'll just give the text a color of white. It means all the text inside the body. The H1 is still inside an element which is inside the body. So this is it. All right. So I'm just trying to show you how all these things is recreated. If you want to even create all this paragraph, there's an element for it. It's in this document I will still share to you. Paragraph. All right, we have H1 to H6 for creating headings. We have paragraph. We have anchor tag for links. In our project, we have image. So you use the image tag to create the image. We have used URL tag. I just gave you the elements that are meant for this project. All right. So we are going to be doing this design. You build it. Build it. If you can finish it, yeah. Then this is how you will share it. Yeah. When you finish building your project, how do you share it? How many of you guys are conversant with GitHub? If you have used GitHub, please just say hi. Just say I have used. I've used it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, looks like Sorry, have you used it before?
Yeah, for me, yes.
Not that perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. For those who have not used GitHub, I'll just find it. Okay, I'll show you an easy approach to share your code to me so that, yeah. Now this is how you can just share your code to me. When you finish building your project, all our project is saved inside a folder. All right. Now this is what you just do. Open the folder in your file manager. The folder, like my own, is on my desktop. But let me show you how to open it. Either you go to your folder on your desktop, like my own. Let me show you my folder on my desktop. My folder is called tutor. Let me find it. I have so much. That's why it's not good to have so much. I'm going to spend time to organize my. Okay, for me not to waste time finding it. This is an easy way to find it. Since I'm on my projects on VS Code, I will just click on any file. I will click on Reveal in File Explorer. Then I will go back a bit to see the main folder. The folder is called tutor. This is the folder here. It's called tutor. So this folder, obviously, this is the first thing we did. We create this folder. So just find the folder when you are finished building your work. Then you compress it to zip, like you zip the folder. To zip a folder, it's as simple as just you right click. You will see compress to zip. So I'm going to compress mine to zip. I'll click on compress to zip. When you compress it to zip, look at the folder now. It's now being zipped. It's not a zip file. So this file, you can now send it to me on WhatsApp. Like, let me send my own on the group chat right now. So how will I send it? I have WhatsApp on my system. So I will just, you know how to send files now to different devices. Let me just go to our community. Let me just type it. Okay, we have a community here. So I can just open our group chats. Then I will just drag this thing, this my folder, drag it, and I'll go and drop it. There are many ways to send things to your WhatsApp group chats. I mean, I should be teaching you how to send files. All right, but this is just my own way. Okay, in my community right now is locked. All right, but I'll make it available. So if I just drag, if it was not locked, I can just drag it here, and it's going to be here. All right.
Evans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of WhatsApp, yeah, we'll set up a form for them to submit their assignments, and
Okay.
yeah, we'll communicate that on the group and also via email so everybody will register.
All right. All right. Thanks.
All right.
So that is all for me. Yeah. So like you guys said, that when you finish building, you will zip your file, and there'll be a form for you to just upload your file. I think that is even the easiest way. Just because I don't want to go through showing you GitHub where there's no time. So thanks. Thanks for your audience.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Remember to share the link, please. Thank you.
Of course, I'll share.
All right. Thank you very much, Evans. I'm sure everybody enjoyed their time and they learned a lot. So thank you again. And this is our wrap up. I'm going to end the recording now. So once